We've just been invited to come here this Sunday. I'm very happy to be here as guests. We invite ourselves. There's a saying that you don't know what you got till it's gone. And of course, we chant at home. But to have congregational Kirtan with this lovely crew here is extremely wonderful. Thank you so much. It's so great to be here. I just need to warn you that we were just at a retreat. So Ben and Kalindi, who were here on Friday, had a retreat up in the Sunshine Coast. And we were just up there for a couple of days and they asked me to speak. And I just want to warn you like I warned them. Because of the treatments that I'm on, I might break down and just start crying at different times. It's just part of the, I'm on hormone therapy for my condition, and I think I blubbered through most of the talks that I gave up at the Sunshine Coast retreat, so it might happen here, so I'm all right, it's okay. It's just so wonderful to be back and to see everybody. So we'll do our guided meditation now, and continue with the rest of the night. Okay, so it's might help if you want to close your eyes. There's different things that happen, people walking around, and so just to kind of help to eliminate some of the distractions as we go through this guided meditation. It's very simple. I'll just take you through step by step. We just want to really relax into this evening, this afternoon. We want to put aside everything else. The mind always wants to take us on some kind of journey, usually to some problem, some worry, some concern, or even the different plans that we have. So just while we're here, just effortlessly focusing on what we're doing, and when the mind distracts, we just gently come back. So let's begin just by having the music there. We can focus to start on that. Now let's bring our attention to the rhythm of each breath, actually feeling the sensation of each inward breath and each outward breath, trying to be consciously aware of each breath. Just letting the breath bring us into a place of ease. The body is feeling relaxed. The mind is gently focused. It may also help just to become aware of that rhythm of your breath, experiencing each ebbing and flowing of the inward and outward breath. It is impossible to empty the mind, to have the mind completely empty and still. So in this practice of mindfulness, we learn how to step back from the mind and simply watch the stream of thoughts that come. Just as if you're sitting peacefully, quietly on the bank, watching a stream that may have different leaves and branches and twigs, and maybe different wildlife all just floating there on the stream. These are similar to the thoughts which come and go. So we are the silent witness who is calmly and peacefully undisturbed by the thoughts which come and go. Experiencing that we are the silent witness, just observing, letting them come, stay, be replaced by others. This experience can give us a feeling of the beginning of a peace, or shanti, peace, as we are not swept away by the various feelings, emotions, concerns. So from this we understand that we are not our mind. We are not the thoughts or feelings. We are the Atma, the Self, who is observing. Now let us add mantra to the practice. This is how we actually dive deeper into that transcendent experience which meditation is. So we'll be harmonizing our breathing and starting on the third outward breath. We add the mantra Go Ra Anga. So as we inhale, repeating the mantra silently as the focus of our meditation, and then as we all say together audibly, we immerse ourselves in that transcendental sound. So let us inhale together. Exhaling. Inhaling. Exhaling. Inhaling. Oh.
guys are amazing. Thank you. I appreciate you all so much, and you don't know what we've got here. It's incredible.
Yeah, just show up week in, week out and go, hey, this is what I do on Sunday. But actually, there's something amazing.
Very, very
happening.
special. Thank you.
All
And
right.
yeah, you're the best chanters anyway.
Oh yeah, better than Western Australia.
They're probably watching, so.
It's too far away to do anything. No, we've got some very nice friends that we've got to catch up with over there. So.
And if you're ever in WA, let us know and we can give you their contact, because very nice people.
Okay. How's the weather out there? I mean, I'm just feeling a bit cold, but that might just be... It's a little cold. Maybe we can just bring the temperature up just a tad. That'd be great, thank you. Okay, now what? Will I talk? Yeah, I certainly can talk.
Underwater if necessary.
No, there's a better compliment than that. It's under wet cement. It's even harder to talk under wet cement. I'll find a way. Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimati Siddha Swarupananda Paramahamsa Iti Namini Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Shivasari Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. The reason why, we kind of have these little short discussions on sharing something from the wisdom of yoga is that it actually helps to shed a light on our path in life. This is, because there are many questions that come our way, as we traverse through our journey, where we're looking for answers to why things are as they are. And, are there ways of changing, my journey? What is the best direction to head in, etc. We've mentioned this many times before, but it always strikes me, that, if you look at our life from when we first learned to speak, at a very early age, right up until the time of leaving this life, this body behind, our conversations generally focus around and connected to a series of questions and then answers to questions. If you can, during this week, just take a little notice of the different conversations that you might have and just become aware and observe the nature of them. They're pretty much all connected to a question and an answer to that question. How you doing? I'm okay. How are you? How you feeling? What's up? What are you going to do? Where are you going to go? How's work? How you feeling? Right? Is it not true? What do you think about this situation? Do you think this is good? Do you think you should get the jab or not get the jab? Do you think you should wear masks or not wear masks? In my opinion, you know what I think, right? So we're always kind of expressing these questions and answers. This is the nature. Our nature is we are looking to progress in life. We're always looking for a forward momentum in our experience from when we're very young to our experience now. Every day we want to move forward from where we are, continue our forward momentum to progress. And this is exactly what the whole yoga wisdom and teachings are for, is to ask questions. In fact, it's even described in the yoga, the sacred text, that this ability to question my life is what distinguishes those of us in the human species, those of us, the Atma, the spirit souls, who are in this human form of life, from the spirit souls, the Atmas, who are in different species or different bodies of life, the different bodies that are there, which, by the way, we have also inhabited and if we are not careful, can inhabit again, is the ability to question. Why am I here? Why am I suffering? How can I find more happiness, more pleasure? So this ability to question is the facility that is available to us when we are in this human life. All the other things which the living beings in other species are also available to us, as we explain. Eating, we eat. Every single animal eats. We sleep. Animals sleep. We have sex. Animals have sex. We like to have a good argument every now and again, or on a global scale. We like to have a bit of a war here and there, so we fight, protect, defend. We have weapons that do that. And in the animal kingdoms, they also have their weapons, claws, teeth, etc. So these things we have in common. They're common in every species of life. But there is that extra facility that we have available to us at this time, is to question my life, my direction in life. And this is actually the real purpose of our existence. And it is the real purpose of our time here. And so that's what makes us human, so to speak. Otherwise we're just two-legged animals walking around doing the same thing that four-legged animals are engaging in. So this kind of came up, this thought came up. I was, because we're always looking, I am. I'm always looking to improve my ability to play guitar and bass and things like that. And so we can make the kirtans, nice, with that nice backing music. And also looking for different tunes here and there. So I was on YouTube and I came across some songs by a guy, maybe he was not that famous. Some of the old dudes and dudettes here may have heard of him, but not everybody's not that famous. There were some songs by a guy called Jackson Browne. Anyone heard of Jackson Browne? A few people heard of Jackson Browne. And anyway, so I was listening, because he's just such a craftsman. His songs are just absolutely beautifully crafted and sung and played. I realised quite quickly that's not within my realm, but I could pass it on to the other guys. But anyway, I was reading through the comments under the song, and there was one that stood out to me, and I thought, it just struck me, and I thought it could be something we could speak a little bit about and explore tonight. This person said, "This song takes me back to 1968, when I was 21, and I cry every time I think of the world and how it's flying by. Wonderful song in the best time of my life." So this kind of struck me as sad. It struck me that, as we age, those of us who are aging, there's a tendency not to look forward, because what is forward for us who are aged? All we know what the future is, we just don't want to think about it. So there's a tendency to look backwards on our life to when we were younger and had different experiences. And this is kind of sad, that we don't look forward to the future. So this person's thinking, 1968, I was 21, and now, obviously the person's in their 60s, is that about right? For 21 and 68, that must be in the 60s now. And just this comment that, when she cries every time that she thinks of how the world is just flying by. And this reminded me of a great saintly person who is described, whose teachings are there, and his life is described in the yogic text, in a text called the Bhagavat Purana, or the Srimad Bhagavatam. And there was this particular thought that came to mind is in the connection with time, and how precious it is, and how it flies by so quickly. Because I'm in a similar age group to the person who made this comment, in my 60s, late 60s, and as many of you know, I'm dealing with cancer. So it's kind of like how quickly it is that I've come to this point of being 67 and dealing with cancer. It's completely just flown by, just like this this person was saying. So it just brings up, what is the importance of time, and how should we be spending our time, whatever the amount of time that we may have left. You think, well, this old dude, he doesn't have much time left, and the younger people are thinking, oh, I've still got a good 40-odd years left, so we still kind of, look forward to the future and what we're going to do. We start planning out, for the next 10 years I'm going to do this in my career, and I'm then going to do that, I'm going to have a family and this many children, then we're going to, get a loan and get a house. Although, these days you've got to be a millionaire to do that, but, so we've got all these kind of plans on what we're going to do. And when we're younger, of course, when our bodies are younger, we are always young. The spirit soul is timeless. We are forever young. But when our bodies are young and we're in that consciousness of being, I am young, we think we're going to sing and dance and play forever into the future. We cannot even comprehend what it's like to be old, right? So we just kind of don't even bother thinking about it, we just can kind of get lost in the moment or in just a little bit of future ahead of us. So Prahlad Maharaj is a great personality. He was born into, this history is literally thousands of years ago. The Srimad Bhagavatam was written down 5,000 years ago. So the time of Prahlad Maharaj was many thousands of years even before this. His father was a great atheist, basically dictator. He was trying to conquer not just the whole of the country or the whole planet. He wanted to conquer the whole universe. And he was a very materialistic, atheistic dictator kind of guy, very powerful. And Prahlad was his son, who was differently inclined to his father. He was, from a very young age, it's even described even when he was in the womb of his mother. His mother was living at that time in the ashram of a great saintly person, Narada Muni. And Narada Muni was instructing Prahlad's mother, and Prahlad was hearing, even while he was in the womb of his mother, he was hearing these great spiritual teachings of Narada Muni. So even from that very early age, and then when he was born, he was very much inclined to spiritual life and saw it as being the purpose of existence. So when he was 5, he was sent to school, of course, by his father. And, of course, kids and the school was very materialistic. The curriculum was very materialistic. And the whole focus was, about enjoying material life, becoming rich, famous, powerful. That's what, his father wanted him to be, just like him. But Prahlad was not inclined that way. He was already inclined spiritually, a very soft and gentle boy. And when they would have recreation time at school with his other friends, he would actually want to sit down with them and speak about, explore, talk about the wonderful eternal qualities and pastimes of the Supreme Soul. And he used to love to engage in Kirtan. That was his favourite thing to do, was engage in Kirtan. So he would always encourage his young friends that, now we have a break from school, let us engage in this Kirtan, let us spend our time in the best way possible. His friends, who were also from, members of the court of his father, so also similarly materially inclined, but very nice kids, would say, but Prahlad, we're only young, we're only 5 years old. We're only 5. We just should play. We can think about spiritual things later on when we get older, but at 5 we just want to play. And Prahlad, is very intelligent. He's saying, well, okay, so we play. Well, when will you be interested in, will we have time for spiritual life? He said, later. And then Prahlad goes on to explain that, well, later on, of course, we'll become interested in, finding a partner, perhaps marrying, children, and all the things that come along with that. We'll be interested in sex life. The sex, impulse, arises in teenage life, and we'll be completely wrapped up and enamored in pursuing those feelings and that experience. So we won't have time then either. And he said, well, after that, after all of that, that's when we can find time. And of course, Prahlad goes on to explain that, well, no, that's when family life, and this is when you completely and totally have no time whatsoever. When the kids come, and then of course you have to provide for the family, and you have to have a place to stay that's comfortable, they have to be able to eat well, have clothes, go to school, get education, all kind of things start happening, and you have an even less time during household life. And so his friends were going, well, after all of that, when the family's all done, then we'll find time, to practice spiritual life. And Prahlad still didn't agree with them. He said, well, no, what happens after that is then you retire. Then, of course, the body is now, has so many troubles. The body always has some kind of trouble, but as the body ages, it's just full. It's just basically a bag of misery. I'm not joking. You think that's a joke, you think I'm exaggerating. The body and the mind give you hell. Each joint, each limb, each back, your neck, everything just becomes a hassle. So you have to deal with going to doctors and blah, 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 blah. And then also, at that stage, this was true thousands of years ago during Prahlad's time, and it is true now. What also happens when a person retires? What is their time taken up with? Playing the pokies at the casino, right? No, they didn't have that then. It's the grandkids. Of course, the kids want you to babysit and you look after. A person spends their time reminiscing about their past, like the person who made this comment on Jackson Brown's song, thinking back of the good old days. But of course, the reality is our rear vision is rose-coloured. The reality is life was not like that. It was never like that. Brief periods of it was like that, and the rest of it was the struggle for existence. So anyway, we start reminiscing and living that, and then we're looking after, having the grandkids around and spending time with them, and somehow or other this all sweeps our time up completely. You think retirement means I've got a lot of time on my hands, but generally it doesn't happen like that. In fact, we're as busy as any other time. And of course, what happens after retirement? Anyone know? Anyone thought that far ahead? We've got to get we start planning early on about having a good retirement fund so that we have enough money and, we can take care of ourselves when we retire, which is a good idea, of course. But do you know what happens after retirement? Yeah, what happens after the nursing home? Death, yeah. So, we don't kind of think about those things, but this is what Prahlad, at the tender age of 5 years old, with his 5-year-old friends, is trying to enlighten them of the reality. Because this time goes by extremely quickly, unbelievably. From 6 to 60 is a blink of the eye. So Prahlad is trying to encourage his childhood friends to not waste this precious time. Now, one thing also comes to mind at this point that I have heard from my spiritual teacher is that, most people think, because of their experience or upbringing and what's presented, in society as being what spiritual life means, or religion is generally considered to be a bummer. Religion means oppressive. I couldn't wait to get out of church and go and have some fun, right? Anyone who ever went to church, it was like, okay, I'll do this as an investment in the afterlife. So that I have one foot in the afterlife, and hopefully I'll go to I won't go to, the fish and chip shop, with the boiling oil, and I'll be one of the chips in the boiling oil, right? Because that's one place apparently you can go. I mean, it's not, but, sometimes that's put forward as being what will happen to you if you are not religious. So we kind of do it out of a fear or an obligation. But the reality is, spiritual life is actually joyful. So it isn't like, generally religion or spiritual life is something we think we'll put off until, the last time of life when I've enjoyed myself and I've had a lot of fun, and then I'll become a little bit interested in spiritual life, right? That's the general kind of way of thinking. But what people don't understand is that spiritual life means that highest joy. It actually means that highest happiness, that most perfect and complete unconditional love that we experience in our relationship with the Supreme Soul. So spiritual life, if we're looking for the highest joy, the highest happiness, the greatest pleasure, that is to be found in our natural condition of our relationship with the Supreme. It's like, why put off the greatest fun that you can have, the greatest happiness, the greatest joy? That is actual spiritual life. In comparison, material joy or material pleasure is very flickering. It comes and goes very quickly, and it doesn't satisfy me anyway. It comes and goes. Very shallow amount of happiness or joy. A great saintly person, his name is Srila Rupa Goswami, who was a disciple of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu 500 years ago. He wrote this work called the Nectar of Devotion, the sweetness, the nectar of devotion. And one thing that comes to mind, in fact, this is one of the first things I ever heard from my spiritual teacher when I first went to the first ever talk where I heard him speak. He was reading from this work called the Nectar of Devotion. And in there, Srila Rupa Goswami speaks about how pleasure is the goal. Pleasure is what we're all looking for. Happiness, joy is actually the goal of life. But he does a comparison between the happiness derived from material enjoyment, which means enjoyment of eating, sex, the different kind of enjoyments that we experience through the senses of this body. There is a certain amount of pleasure or happiness experienced from them, and our life is usually spent in pursuing those things. He compares that amount of pleasure compared to the amount of pleasure or happiness or joy when one is resituated in their natural loving relationship with Krishna or God, the Supreme Soul, comparing the two amounts of happiness. So he compares the amount of happiness through material enjoyment is like the amount of water in the hoof print of a cow. The amount of water in the hoof print of a cow compared to an ocean of happiness. So, if you are offered something which is going to give you, this much happiness, but you are offered something else which would bring you happiness bigger than this room, which would we choose? Well, obviously we choose the greater amount. So it's really unfortunate that many people consider spiritual life to be something that we do when we're burned out from material life. So we tend to put it off as not being, high on our priority list in what we do in our life. So, just to wrap up this idea, is that this time is most precious. If you're not already at a similar stage of life to myself, where my body is at, this will happen faster than you can imagine. And the time comes and goes so quickly. So it's not very intelligent to put off our real self-interest to some vague future time. Now is the time to focus on what my real purpose in life should be. So even though this material body is temporary, it has a beginning and it will have an end. Let me see, there was something I thought we could read. And our time is passing so quickly, it is actually very valuable. And even this material body, which causes so much trouble to us, is very valuable. In the same text, the Bhagavad Purana, it says this: both by the rising and by the setting, the sun decreases the duration of everyone's life. So each morning when we get up and see the sun rise, I want you now to be stuck with this thought. Every morning when you see the sunrise, remember this. Both by the rising and by setting, The sun decreases the duration of everyone's life, except one who utilizes the time by discussing topics of the all-good Supreme Personality of Godhead. So this is the real purpose for each remembrance of each rising and setting of the sun. It can actually be a valuable thing rather than being something which is sad or something fearful. Because one day older means one day closer to death. So we're closer to death today on Sunday than we were yesterday on Saturday. Whereas if we spend our time, as has been described here by the saintly person, then our life is actually perfect, how we spend it. So although the human form is temporary, you can achieve the highest perfection of life while in this human form. What is that perfection? To understand the all-pervading Supreme Soul. So life is an opportunity to understand the ultimate goal of perfection. And it is not horrible. It is actually very nice, very enjoyable. And this, as what we're doing tonight, is the easiest way in which we can perfect our time, to spend our time. So remember how important time is. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. All right. We're going to stand up as we sit sick of sitting down. That's part of old age, that noise. If you don't make that noise yet, over time, all of a sudden, you start wanting that noise to be part of your life. One, two.
Today when we're talking about doing this tune, Radha Krishna says to me, what will you do? Like, what did you say? Will you still stand by me when I'm in a wheelchair? I said, no, I'll sit by you.
Krishna
while we were in quarantine, we watched every stream, and you kept us going, so thank you very much. But it is much better to be here in person. So all you guys who are watching on stream, it's awesome to chant with you, but you should be here. It's really good.
Just doing something here. So I just received an email just while we were chanting that we're celebrating our 8th birthday. We're 8. Quite immature still, but yeah, 8 years ago we had that was also the opening of the mantra room. So,
and we've been here 6 months.
Yeah. So if you add them to and add your birthday to it.
So it's the 6-month anniversary of the centre and the 8th month anniversary of Ashraya. 8 year. 8 year. And the mantra room.
Someone stole my pick. I will. Because we've been, as you know, we've been out of action for a little while. So that means we haven't been chanting this long, with people for the last 5 weeks, month or so. Not sure how our Kirtan stamina will hold up. This next one requires a little bit of stamina, so I'm not sure how.
Chanting along with you on the stream
is
not the same.
Yeah, I picked it because I like it, but we'll see how we go. Krishna Prestaya Bhutane Srimati Siddha Swarupananda Paramhamsa Iti Damine
Krishna Prasada Gutana, Srimati Silaswara Kanaya, Paramahasa Itananda, Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar, Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thank you, thank you.
We were quite apprehensive about coming back tonight because of how good the other guys were. We were watching online every week and it blew us away how nice it was. So if you can put up with us as well, it'd be much appreciated.
We've got some cool things coming up. Next Saturday there is a hike with our youth crew called the Circle of Friends, and Kalindi's going to tell you what it's about.
Yeah, it's going to be really cool. 1 2 1 2. Hey, roll. It's going to be a really cool event. It's from 2 till 6 at it's the Twin Falls hike, and up at Springbrook. Yeah, and it'll be easy. It'll be an easy hike, and we'll have kirtan and swimming. I think it's going to be a sunset kirtan, so it'll be really fun. And that's for students and young adults. So,
where do people meet up and stuff?
Well, we're going to meet in the car park.
Oh, up in the thing, not the car park here.
Not the car park here, no. But if it is raining, we might have something on here. Yep.
How much?
It's going to grill me. It's free, I believe. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Am I young enough? Or I'm only 8. So.
But yeah, if you want the other information, I believe it's on Instagram, probably Facebook, on the March Room, and you can follow us over Circle of Friends, Kirtan, on Instagram. We'll have all the information.
And there's these flyers that I hear. Can we get that?
Yeah. It's only got basic information though.
Yeah.
The date, time.
And is it like a share, like potluck or something?
It's BYO.
BYO.
Yep.
Pot. Luck. No, none of that.
Also, there's some flyers out there with what's coming up in November. There's a cooking class and a social night as well, summer barbecue and kirtan. Also coming up soon is Christmas. Can you believe it? Christmas is coming. So what we normally do for Christmas is have a big kirtan, of course, and we're planning to have it out at Narang under those beautiful trees so that we can fit everyone in who wants to come. And the other nice thing that we do at Christmas is we have a choir. We call it the Choir of Angels, and we're going to start rehearsing soon. We normally sing about 5 or 6 beautiful songs that really imbibe the spirit of bhakti. And so we'll be starting rehearsals soon, and if anyone is keen, you can hit me up or message us on Facebook or Insta, and I can give you some more details. It's very fun and beautiful, and you don't need to be... We're not going to audition you. All voices are welcome. If you've got a voice, you can join the choir. And the other thing coming up is we're always keen for volunteers, so if any of you want to get involved behind the scenes with all the cool stuff that goes on here, we have a wonderful volunteer coordinator named Carolyn. Is she here tonight?
She is, but she was.
She might be volunteering somewhere.
Probably volunteering.
She's probably volunteering. But there's some volunteer flyers, and it's got her phone number, and yeah, you can have a chat about different ways you can get involved if you'd like to. If you've got, a spare few hours here and there, or half a day, or a weekend, or even if it's just every now and then, every little bit helps and is so appreciated.
One more special thing.
Yeah?
We're back. I'll just give you a brief feeling, because some of you may like to know that the treatments went well over in Perth, so they're done. So now it's just recovery time. I got 1 month left of hormone therapy, and then that's it. And then we're going to monitor it every 3 months to see how it's doing. So, hallelujah, praise the Lord. It seems to have gone really well. It was a great team over in the clinic in Perth. So it seems to be going well, and my health is pretty, kind of improving. So that's how it could come tonight. So very happy to be here. Yeah, and the other thing is, we're back on Wednesdays as well. So if you're not aware, every Wednesday we have a deep peace meditation session here from 10:15 till 11. Madya, Lila, Dasi and I run the deep peace session here. And if you want to come along, then we sometimes or usually hang out in the lounge area and have a chat. People just sit around and talk and ask questions and things like that. So really nice time, 10:15 every Wednesday, and we'll be back this Wednesday to run that deep peace. So you're very welcome to come.
Wonderful to see you all. Thank you so much. It's such a privilege to chant with you all. Please enjoy your meal, and if you'd like to help afterwards, you're most welcome as well, just to pack things up.
Clean up and things like that would be much appreciated. Haribol.
Haribol. Have a great week.